Hello, my name is Kevin, and I'm here to present student budget planning by creating a personal income statement. So I have four slides. Um, the first one is how to budget. There's three steps. Create a monthly personal income statement. Decide what expenses are necessary and not necessary. Find a pattern for the two non-fixed categories to create a budget for that category. Um, so more in depth, a personal income statement is income minus expenses, which equals net income or net loss. Income is cash from working, financial aid, side job, washing cars, etc. Expenses can be split into two categories, which is necessities or non-necessities. This is important uh, because it helps decide what is your budget, what is your standard, right? Step two, decide what expenses are necessary and not necessary. It depends on income, right? So normal goods and inferior goods. In economics, as income increases, normal goods increase, inferior goods decrease. Uh, and as income decreases, normal goods decrease and inferior goods increases. So normal goods like the stuff that's trending, the stuff everybody wants, Starbucks, um, the Gucci, the Louis Vuitton. Inferior good, it's like Old Navy, um, stuff from Ross, you know, buying cheaper foods and everything. Um, so college student example one, going to the theaters. Is that necessary? No, because there's other ways to watch movies, which is Netflix or, you know, using your mom's Disney Plus account. For example two, buying an expensive Apple MacBook or Microsoft Surface. That's a might be necessary, right? But you always want to buy the older model if you can, or use. Step three, going out to eat. Now this is a tough one because it's it may not be necessary, but it may be necessary if you have family or close friends. Uh, Example four, having the newest iPhone 17. Not sure if that's the latest iPhone number, but obviously that's not necessary since you can buy an older model brand new at a cheaper price. Step three, this is really important, and this is like one of the hardest steps, essentially. Find a pattern for the two non-fixed categories. So the two non-fixed categories are A and B, necessary bills and non-necessary bills. So some examples of necessary bills are groceries, expenses, house expenses, um, office, family, um, medical. Non-necessary bills include dining, vacation, entertainment, essentially anything that you don't need. So this is important to create a budget. So now onto our personal income statement example. So I know there's a lot to look at. So let's just start from the top and then head to, which is perfect because that's how financial statements are meant to be read. So this is Marty McFly's personal income statement. This is Marty McFly's income statement for the month ended September 23. So remember what I said over here. Create a monthly create a monthly personal income statement, right? So for this case, it ends every month, right? So this is just for September expenses and income. So every income statement has an income section, it has an expenses section, then it has the fruit of your labor, which is a net income or loss. And in this case, it's a net loss. Which I'm sorry, this should be a positive, but you know, Marty, just like many other students, they just don't know how to budget. So let's start from the top right here where it says income. Marty did a gig at Enchantment Under the Sea dance because supposedly he knows how to play music. and he got paid $1,000, so good for him. Expenses. Now this one's a lot longer and a lot more complicating, and I even had to add my own sort of twist to the expenses, which is this section right here. So as you can see, this yellow area is connected with this yellow area, and then this teal area, total non-necessary bills. This should be teal. I don't know why I didn't make that teal. This is connected with this whole teal area. Again, this should be all teal right here. But yeah, I did this video like 4 times already, so yeah. So expenses include less necessary bills. So for example, rent is 500. Groceries, house, office expenses. This is a not fixed expense. These are generally everybody's expenses will have 2 categories within the 2 categories, which is fixed and not fixed. So the not fixed area is the yellow part. And it includes all this stuff, which if you can tell, it's connected to groceries, house, office, right? Stater Brothers. That's like groceries, Hot Topic. That's clothes, right? It might not be necessary, but that's just his style, right? Maybe it's a normal good for him. More groceries, school supply, right? In September, yeah, a lot of students' income statements they have a lot more expenses in August and September because of school supply, right? Internet, gotta have an internet, Taco Bell. Maybe he could cut that, but it's up to him. So that came out to 400, right? So that's where this 400 came from this whole items all together. Going down the list, he's got insurance, negative 75, cell phone bill, negative 35, these are all fixed, internet bill, 80, gas bill, 0, gym membership, 10. So all these bills, 500, 400, 75, 35, 80, 10, that came out to 1100. So you can already tell he's down 100, which doesn't include unnecessary bills. So he can work on that, right? But moving forward, we have more or less non-necessary bills, which is dining, vacation, entertainment, and these are not fixed. Moving forward, non-necessary bills, dining, vacation, entertainment, again, is not fixed. You went to an AC/DC concert with the doc, which is $100. He got Doc a lab coat birthday gift, and I don't know when his birthday is. I just put that because the Doc is just a really cool, funny character. And total necessary bills came out to 300. So that's where this 300 came from. So that's pretty much it. And so that will be our net income or loss, which comes up to negative 400. Again, where does negative 400 came from? It came from the original 1,000 for income, less negative 1,100, less negative 300. So that's 1,000 minus 1,400. I'm sorry, 1,000 minus 1,400 is equal to negative 200. That's Marty McFly's personal income statement. Thank you, ChatGPT. All right, personal income statement analysis. Let's start with the negatives, right? Marty is down 400 bucks for the month. What happened? What did he do? It's a common mistake with students who are learning how to budget, and also people who just can't differentiate normal good and inferior good. Right? So he needs to cut on expenses, or else he will not be able to support himself financially. So I don't know how much savings Marty's got. So hopefully he's got enough savings to cover himself. This is just an example I made. So it seems like he seems like he has a bright future, right? Right. All right. So positives. Marty knows that he can be resourceful. He uses food waste from his garbage for the Delorean fuel, which is kind of cool. After a few months of creating a personal income statement, Marty can see how he can spend his money more wisely. So this connects to these yellow and purple shaded areas, right? Um, so that's essentially when you're creating a budget, there's going to be non-fixed accounts, which is for me, just to make it easier, I only have two, uh, which is the necessary non-fixed and the non-necessary non-fixed, which is up here. Yeah, it gets confusing, but try to make it as simple as possible. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just standard budgeting, um, making sure you're not volatilely spending your cash and not having enough money to feed yourself. Um, yeah, things like that. So positives. Marty knows that he can be resourceful and uses. Oh, wait, I said that. Yeah. So went to an ACD concert with his best friend. Like that's two very important things. ACDC, which is awesome, and the dog. Like hanging out with the dog, having quality time. Um, so that's really important. Traveling is really important. So takeaways. Um, so again, it's important where your money is going, right? And this is like the most basic way to do it. As you take financial accounting, sure, you'll learn more than businesses, but as you know, a personal income statement is really all you need. Um, and of course, a personal income statement doesn't have retained earnings, but you can always just check your retained earnings. Um, for me, I only have one checking account. If you have two checking accounts, what's the point? I don't know. There's really no point. I don't get why people have more than two checking accounts. And if you have like 6 or 7 credit cards like me, you know, having using this method is really helpful because you can keep track of your expenses and you're you're you know you're, most of you're probably thinking like I don't need this. This is stupid, right? But to the core of it, most of us have more than 3 credit cards, and we can't use 3 different apps to track our income statement, right? So number two, if you can't differentiate necessary items and unnecessary items, then use the normal and inferior good method. More income equals more fabulous spending. Less income equals inferior spending. So more income, you could buy your Starbucks coffees. Less income, you can make your own coffees, right? Um, Placing transactions in the correct account is key. This is just, a branch off of what is a non-necessary necessary item. If you have multiple checkings, credit cards, debit card accounts, then it can be extremely helpful to have your DIY personal income statement. Again, I'm just repeating the importance of doing your own DIY. You can record the budget on your phone's notepad. I mean, that's what I do, but it's probably better if you use Excel if you want to be more professional. But for me, opening Excel on my cell phone takes like 5 seconds, which is 5 seconds away from my life that I do not want. So I just use my notepad. Um, Making a personal income statement is a good way to keep yourself accountable. Yay, you did it. So we finished. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Like this all sounds redundant and like silly at first, but there's really only one way to keep track of your budget, and that's to keep track of your expenses. So I really hope you learned something from this. Um, just a quick summary. Student budget planning, how to budget, steps 1, 2, 3, create a monthly personal income statement, decide what expenses are necessary and not necessary, and then find a pattern after 3 or 4 months for the two non-fixed categories, which is necessary bills and non-necessary bills. And definitely use this uh, method for every month you would just copy and paste like the bone, I guess, of this, and then like start over. So for if Marty wanted to, do a October uh, income statement, he would just copy and paste this, delete the delete and just start over again. Um, so here you get rid of like this, all of this, all of this. It's just it sounds like common sense, but I don't know. It's some people think that this is not necessary, but when when you're in college and you're thinking to yourself like, okay, I'm strapped for cash, I I need to know how much I can spend, so that way I can like get more bang for my buck, or just to see if like is going to this AC/DC concert like worth it? Like, you know, obviously it is, but like, you know, $100 is a it could add up, right? Like if Marty McFly, if he didn't like report all these expenses, how is he gonna keep his own accountable? Right? So so now he learned something from this. He could see that he lost money this month. So he could do two things: have more income or have less expenses, right? So yeah, using this as a backbone structure for the next month is pretty important. Negatives, positives, that's not so important. The important thing is knowing how to analyze a personal income statement. Um, just to analyze, like, you know, obviously if you have more cash, then you might not have to worry because, you know, you could just, you know, just have somebody else, pay your own accountant, whatever. So, but I mean, anybody should know how to do this. It's not that hard. Um, is it necessary? It might not. Who knows? I think it's necessary for me. Um, so yeah, thank you again for having me. Hope you learned something, and uh, I really hope you use this so that you can um, just keep track of your expenses. And all right, thank you so much. Have a great day.